Hey, welcome to the Big Bluecast. Today is Wednesday, November 18th. Yeah, the 18th. It's crazy. Got another fun, not so fun episode today. Talk about a little basketball stuff to finish up again, like usual. But first things first, let's get to that Vanderbilt game from this past Saturday. It was interesting. I'll just kind of let you run with it at first. Like, what were your biggest kind of takeaways, bird's eye view of what happened on Saturday?
Um, Eddie Grand refused to adjust the game plan in the second half once
So,
again. Time and time again, it proves over and over.
yeah,
If we have a comfortable lead going into
yeah,
the
that's
second half, Eddie
we're
Grant
screwed.
is not going to make any adjustments
Any,
whatsoever.
yeah, it's very lather, rinse, repeat as far as that goes. We've seen that a whole ton. It's really more like he just kind of sprinkles a game in there, every once in a while where you go, oh, okay, look, he's willing to change, he's willing to adapt, he's willing to do this and that, and then we have like two, three, four more games where we're back to same old, just same game plan. Like you said, the big key right there is that whenever we go into halftime with a comfortable lead, but we better hold on to it because he's going to be determined that what he came up with is going to work. Other teams going to make halftime adjustments and just kind of hold on for dear life and hope that nothing bad happens. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, second half. Ever since Terry made the fumble,
Yeah,
I mean, we recovered it, but he didn't look the same. First half, he looked phenomenal. Couldn't ask
yeah,
for a better play out of Terry. After the fumble, he looked awful. And why they waited so long to bring in a backup quarterback is beyond me. But the bigger question is, why did they bring in the third stringer ahead of who is arguably probably should be your starting quarterback?
yeah. That was going to be my next question for you. Was I know you're disappointed, but how disappointed were you that? Not, I mean, I guess one A that Joey Gatewood wasn't the starter, and one B that he really didn't get to play much at all. He got like what, a series that he got in the second half, like in the fourth quarter, like him and Bo Allen each. Was that? I mean, it was really disappointing for me. I'll say that much because I was hoping even if Terry was the starter, that they would throw things to Gatewood a little bit more. Um,
Well, I understood Terry starting, even if Terry
yeah,
is, that the rumor is true that, he's ready to start winding down with Coach
kind of
Slarman
moving on.
passing. I understand Terry wanting to come out and play.
Yeah,
And I understand them
that's
telling
that's true.
Terry, "Hey,
I'm
you
fine
get
with that.
the starting position."
Yeah,
But as soon as Terry's play started going down, they
yeah.
should have brought in Gatewood. But what's still mind-boggling to me is,
Mhm.
why do you bring in your third string guy before the guy who's battling for the starting spot?
Yeah,
And that just blows my mind how they done that. And you could tell that Gatewood
yeah.
was not happy.
Oh yeah, like I think I texted you about that. I mean, you could tell he just had this very like blank kind of sullen look on his face when he was out there kind of waiting for, I think they'd gotten like a first down or something. He was out there just kind of waiting next set of plays to come in and he just he just had this look like
Yeah.
I can't say I'm blaming him. Yeah, I mean he made a good point with Sklarman passing away and everything. I can understand them saying, okay, guy who's been here for a few years, like we're going to give you the start and let you kind of just go with it today.
Yeah, and the way
Um,
he played in the first half, I totally get them
yeah,
not pulling him because he
it's
was
fine.
playing great. But
When he's yeah, when the offense is going down and just scoring, scoring, scoring. I mean, you're not going to bench the guy unless you're really just looking at him, ahead of time and saying, we're going to let you play most of the first half for a good chunk of it, and then we're going to throw it to this guy just to get him some reps out there. But yeah, at the end of the day, when it's working, we need to win the football game. It was working, just roll with it. But yeah, like bringing Allen in when they did, and really just kind of relegating Joey Gatewood to garbage time minutes. It's
yeah,
like,
and don't get me wrong, I was glad to see Bo Allen.
yeah,
But I would rather have seen Gatewood come in, and then when you get down to that last couple series, say, okay,
mhm,
now we bring
yeah,
you in and let you sit
yeah,
there and have a couple series, one or two series, and see how things go.
sure, yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's hard to do that also whenever the defense is playing so atrocious.
So bad. I
I mean,
mean,
Vandy is bottom feeder stats in every category.
everything. Yeah, even when they were showing the stats, kind of towards and then after the game was over, the season versus just our game. I mean, it was like they really just if nothing else, like they lost us by 3 points, but they really padded their stats big time. I mean, they had more yards, they had more everything on
Mm-hmm.
us. I mean, it was crazy. It was very disappointing to see the defense after they'd done so well. We'd said we were kind of they were kind of the bright shining star on the team at this point because the offense was having trouble. Special teams looked bad at the start of the year. And then the defense finally got it together. Okay, we're good with this. Let's just see if the offense can get going. And then we're back to, I mean, granted, like we're playing Vandy, but that notwithstanding, like we're still playing really good offense, but the defense was awful.
Yeah.
Like Vandy was having their way with them. And
Vandy has their
you,
way with nobody this year.
you can tell
So,
Monday, Mark Stoops doing his presser, they were talking to him. He was upset. He actually said, I'm pissed
yeah.
because he said, he's upset because on both sides of the ball, there's potential for our team to do really well,
Mm-hmm.
but we've yet to see them put that entire body of work together in one cohesive game.
It's
He
amazing. It
seemed to
always takes our
be,
defense playing bad to get him riled up, though.
yeah, oh
You
yeah,
can tell he's a defensive guy because
oh yeah,
if the offense
like
is playing
that's
crappy, as long as the defense played their part, he'll just come into
yeah,
the press conference. We got stuff to work on. We know that. We're going to get to it.
yeah,
But when the defense comes
absolutely,
out and lays a goose egg, he's
yeah,
livid.
he flips out. And it was interesting to hear him say it, just to say, I mean, because you could tell from what he was saying, at least what I gathered, he was blaming it more on, like he said, we've got guys that are really skilled, but we don't have a lot of guys who are like just going and making the play. They're just trying to let other people around them, like everybody's kind of being that way on both sides of the ball, like at really bad times. Like instead of having a guy that's just going to go out and go make the play, they're just looking and saying, okay, who's got it? And he said he's really upset about it. So, um, I mean, it is what it is at this point. We've got 3 games left, so I don't know. Um, yeah, I would have really liked to have seen more. I could even see sticking with Terry the entire first half, and then and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like maybe go into the second half saying, you know what, we're going to start the other quarterback, start the second half, and if we need to make like a switch, we'll switch back, but we're just going to run with the other guy and just kind of see how he does. Like it's nothing personal. And granted, I mean, maybe that would like take Terry's confidence or whatever, but I don't know. Everybody seemed when you look on social media and stuff, everybody seemed really happy. A lot of talk about Bo Allen, but I didn't really see anybody talking about Joey Gatewood at all. I mean, they were talking about, oh, Bo Allen got in, he got to pass, he got to hit the receivers, he was doing all this stuff, but like, oh, we're looking towards the future of the program and everything else. It's like Gatewood's going to be here a couple more years, and he's good. Like, why are we acting like
I mean, don't get me wrong,
he's
Bo Allen's
nobody?
good and he's a homegrown
Yeah,
talent, which is nice.
hmm
But at the
yeah,
same time, it's next year it's going to be Gatewood's program. It's not going to be Allen's.
yeah. I mean, Allen. I mean, Allen seems like he's got a ton of potential to be really good for us. But yeah, especially right now and coming into next year, he's going to be a lot greener than Joey Gatewood is,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be nice to just have both of those guys at your disposal. But yeah, it's going to be Joey Gatewood's team. So I didn't really understand that. And like I said, I was going through reading different articles and stuff like that, and you saw this mention of like the future of the program. It's all Bo Allen. It's like, well, Joey Gate was probably thinking, what am I doing here? Then
Yeah, I
if
don't
I'm just
understand some of the
yeah,
media's bias against Gatewood. It's like you all were so mad that he had not been cleared yet.
right,
And then once he got cleared and it became evident that he was competing
mm,
for the starting position
sure. I
against
mean,
Terry, it was like they completely flipped because they just figured, he's going to be here. He's going to be a backup to Terry if he gets hurt.
yeah,
But he's going to be a great backup, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as he came out and started competing for the starting position, they backed off of him. Like, ugh.
yeah, big time. I mean, and no one really talks about it. Like you
Yeah,
don't.
I don't have a problem with Terry whatsoever.
No,
But when he's playing bad, he needs to
no.
come out.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just I feel like that's all we did there for a while. Like everyone was saying, "Oh, Gatewood, Gatewood, Gatewood. We got to get him eligible. Okay, Gatewood's eligible. We got to play him." Everybody seemed in on that, and now like the script's just flipped. Yeah, like you said, I don't. I mean, there's some crazy people out there that are just like hell bent on not not liking Terry Wilson or giving him credit when he does play well. But like you said, especially the way he does things, like second half he fumbles, things start going bad. Okay, that'd be a perfect time to throw Gatewood in there and say, okay, let's go,
Yeah.
let's see what he's got. Um, the, I mean, I understand because there in the fourth quarter, we were just kind of throwing in like freshmen and these guys that don't play much. And it gave Vanderbilt a chance to kind of close the gap score wise. It's like, I understand why it happened, but it still kind of bugged me that we only beat them by 3 points. And I'm not trying to be super Mr. Negative guy here, being like, it's a win, but we should have won by. I mean, it's not a big deal. But when it's a team like Vanderbilt, I just found it a little disappointing
I really
that
wish I'd have
we
put money on Vandy on the spread.
I mean, seriously, could have made some real coin doing that. I was thinking the same
Hmm.
thing when the score, like, I didn't realize they'd scored that many times.
As bad as
Um,
Vandy is this year, there's no way I would have.
yeah,
I'd have,
no,
if I
never.
had a bet, I'd have bet Kentucky to win and cover the spread,
Yeah,
not
like,
Vandy to um, beat the
yeah,
spread and be within 3 points. I mean,
when you think
wow.
about it, there's how many people were probably sitting at home, that probably put money on us to win and cover the spread and everything and thought with like 5 minutes to go, they're in good shape to, and here they come just
I
because
would
I
say
feel like
there's
they
even
kind of just
Vandy
snuck up.
fans at home going,
Yeah,
"Stop scoring!
probably. Yeah,
I got
quit.
money on this."
Put the real defense back in. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, like if we win,
And
I'll take the loss. But come on, guys.
there's probably a handful of people that went the other way and just went, what? I'll put this will change down and just see what happens. Or probably thanks,
Yeah.
thanks defense.
Yeah, thanks for the early Christmas present. Appreciate that.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like it just kind of snuck up because all of a sudden I look and I'm like, wait a minute, there's like 4 minutes left and like they could actually feasibly come in now and like win this thing. They could beat us if we don't get it together here real quick. So that was a little, I don't know. I said I hate to say too much negative in that light because I don't want, especially with football. I mean, it's bad enough when basketball fans get that way, but I don't want to be that guy that's talking about UK football. Go, we should have won by more because we're not really, even if it's Vanderbilt, we're not really in a position to be like griping about win, like how much we win a game by. But it was
No.
just interesting to me. So, well, the big golden question. So, how much are we going to beat Alabama by this weekend?
Big negative 40.
thought I could, thought I could say, thought I could say that without laughing.
Uh,
Couldn't.
yeah.
Didn't happen. Um, yeah, I've been saying the last few weeks.
Can
When we
anybody
were
say
kind of
negative
further,
yardage to finish the game? I mean,
it's possible. It's going to be bad. Um, yeah, I mean, I've been saying this kind of just as we've been looking ahead, over the weeks since football started. I kind of look at the Alabama game as like almost like Pee Wee League or something. Like, try your best, do what you can, and just nobody get hurt. Like, let's not rack up a bunch of injuries trying to, pull off a miracle. Um, I don't know.
I think
Like,
what
I
you'll
don't
see
think.
is what you normally see out of Saban against us. You see a lot of the second string guys starting
Yeah,
in
and
the first
he's
half. Like he's still going to have a starting quarterback and his main running backs and
he's
receivers,
gonna
but there's going to be a
yeah,
lot of second string guys that get minutes in the first.
yeah,
And we'll probably, if our defense shows up, they probably won't score very much because of that. But when
yeah.
the second half comes in, that third quarter, Saban will put all the starters back in, and that'll
And
be
off to the
100% fresh against our gassed defense.
that's gonna be a spectacle. Like that'll be
And they're going to
fascinating.
light us up in the third, and then you're going to see the second and third string quarterbacks get minutes in the fourth quarter. That's my prediction.
Yeah. And like especially like against us, Saban's good about not trying to like run the
Yeah,
score up like
exactly.
crazy. If he can help it, depending on
I
how
was going to say
good
third
we
quarter,
are,
it's going to get
it's gonna hurt.
out of
It's gonna
it's
be
going to get out
brutal.
of touch for us, and then the fourth quarter he's going to be like, okay, time for the second and third string guys to come in.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely, like you said, whether they're starting or just coming in really quick in the first half, he hits the depth chart really quick. And it makes sense. I mean, he's trying to get these other guys some playing time, get them developed and everything. And they're good. I mean, their second string's better than anybody we have. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It's not a whole lot to say about playing Alabama. It's just going to be brutal, you know.
Yeah.
like, um, yeah, interesting little stretch here to kind of finish the season now. I mean, we're kind of looking ahead at if we're predicting realistically loss against Florida, and then hopefully beat South Carolina, barring they just show up to play and we don't or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of hard to believe we're already coming down the stretch of football season, but here we are.
And this just
Yeah.
in on Twitter. I seen it was blowing up
Uh-oh.
on my phone, so I figured I better
Uh-oh.
look at it. Matt Jones tweeted out that Kentucky public and private schools must end in-person classes starting November 23rd at the latest.
Okay, so
Classes in person will not be able to resume until at least January 4th.
oh wow, until January 4th. Wow. Okay. Well, really dropping the hammer.
Dropping the hammer. So that's on
That's
the
this coming Monday. It's going into Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised. I mean, especially how much kind of worse everything's gotten. I can totally understand that. Mainly because I'd say they probably figure a ton of people are going to go just like travel around and mingle with everybody and stuff next week, and then who knows what things are going to look like. But um, here we are. It's almost Thanksgiving, and we're still like dealing with this stuff.
Fingers crossed that we get basketball.
Oh,
Because that's what concerns me most about that tweet is, okay, if we're doing that stuff on a state level now, how long is it going to be before the NCAA goes, you know what? We decided we're not going to look like the bad guys anymore.
yeah, I think here kind of from now until like the new year, I mean,
Literally
well,
going to be
there's not
week to
much.
week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of jump, may as well go ahead and jump into the basketball stuff anyway. I mean, we don't need to belabor Alabama just sticking it to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the basketball stuff goes, first game is supposed to be a week from tonight. I mean, yeah, I'm confident that that game's going to be played, but honestly, like everything after next week, I don't know. Like, I think, like you just said, it's going to be a week to week kind of thing because, I mean, there's a lot of variables at play. I mean, you're going to have like if state legislators decide to do stuff that hampers basketball. You're going to have if programs or conferences, anything like that. Like if they decide on their own, we're pulling out. Um, it's it's going to be hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff. Kind of like it was with football when they were trying to figure out, conference only play, Big Ten's not playing, or are they? Maybe not, maybe so. It's going to be kind of the same thing, but probably even more complicated than all that was. Like just trying to keep up with what everybody's doing, and
Yeah, and I'm curious too how things are going to play out if we make it to the tournament with everything being held in Indy.
yeah,
It's like, well, are we
yeah,
going to play basketball from 7 in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning in that first
yeah.
round? Because,
So I don't know how they're going to pull that off. I mean, they were talking about just finding different venues that are kind of close together in Indiana and like trying to do the first round like that way. I don't know. They've got a lot to figure out. It's kind of a shame that they haven't done a little bit more up until now. I mean, they literally. I mean, that's some of the big news that came from just Monday, I guess, where they said that they were going to scrap because I mean, Rupp Arena was supposed to have host first second round games. The first week this year, so that's scrapped. And yeah, they're going to try to just converge in kind of the Indianapolis area, everything close to it, get things set up so they can try some big NCAA mega bubble if we get there.
I think it's a big if at this point.
A big one, yeah.
And I don't like
Um,
saying that because I was looking so forward to basketball season. So,
but looking at it realistically, like
yeah, I'd rather be
now,
realistic than be completely disappointed.
absolutely,
So,
yeah. And like and it's just interesting because even in the early weeks of this show, we were first kicking things off. We were looking ahead to both football and basketball, and a lot of what you saw out there and kind of the indications were, football might not really work out because there's just too many people, and like, how's that going to work? But basketball, if the NBA can bubble everybody up, like maybe they can figure something out, bubbles everywhere, and just make it work. And now it's been flipped where, I mean,
4
things are,
football games canceled in the SEC or postponed.
yeah, yeah.
And how many get postponed this coming weekend?
I have no idea. Actually, I've
I
not
mean,
looked
you never know.
ahead
We
to.
might get to permanently
Yeah,
postpone our butt kicking from Alabama if something comes up because they're going to be an
yeah,
SEC championship game, and that seems to be the makeup date. So,
right. You never know. I mean, yeah, we might just get a free bye week where we can rest up and just play
not get
Florida, South
pummeled.
Carolina. Yeah, not get destroyed and then, nurse any injuries and stuff going forward.
Be a little fresh going into the
But
Florida game. Oh wait, yeah, the Florida game. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah, as far as basketball, like if you'd asked me like a month ago, I would have said I think that even if they have to change like the time frame of when the season's going to end or how they do it, or they just have to change things around, I would have said like based on what the NBA had done and how at least the first week or two of football seemed to be going okay, all things considered, could have been worse. Like I would have told you, I think we're actually going to make it. Like they might have to change some stuff around, figure out a new game plan at some point in the process, but I think basketball wise, like we're going to make it. Now, as far as the question, do I think we'll start next Wednesday and make it through the season without basketball being ended? I honestly, if I had to bet on it, I would say no. That's just where I am now because I just don't see how, with everything the way it is right now. Like I don't know. I just don't see how we get there.
No, I just yeah, it's going to be really challenging.
What do you think about Rick Pitino's little proposal that he's been floating for a while, but he's been really like hitting it home on Twitter and stuff a lot more here lately? Where he said, "I think we need to just scrap all these ideas for non-conference games. Start in January, play conference only like football. Like just do what we can, and then get some kind of tournament. Just do it and get it out of the way." Like, what do you think about his little idea?
Honestly, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, it has worked
Yeah.
fairly well for college football, and
Hmm.
of course, now you still got some of the people out there going, "Oh, well, we got to expand the college playoffs now because teams have
Well,
been with
yeah,
people without their starters because COVID, and it's not fair that
yeah.
they're going to be punished and probably not get to play when they've got one of the better." I'm like, what's the difference between this and any other season? I mean, when it comes to that, sorry,
I mean, it is what it
it is what
is.
it
Like,
is. It's
yeah,
a four-team playoff, and it needs to stay that way. There's no
yeah.
8 teams is too
It's not
many.
feasible. It's not feasible
No,
to do 8. I mean, I think eventually they'll try it just because there's so much pressure to do it and everything, but it's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, like I said, people complain about that kind of stuff. It's like we're all playing by the same odds, the same rules, and everything.
exactly.
Every
So
team has just as much of a chance to get, their whole team on, out from COVID as the next. Like if it happens to your team, I'm sorry, but
yeah,
it kind of
sorry,
is what it
Clemson,
is.
but
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence doesn't fix your crappy defense this year.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, I'm sorry, but
sorry, but them's the breaks. Like, like what do you want? Um, yeah, I mean, it's what a weird time when it seems like a lot of Kentucky fans, us included, actually seem to kind of agree with something Rick Pitino's putting out there.
yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, it's actually not a bad idea. I mean, it's if they actually did that, I'd be disappointed just because I'm so ready for basketball to start. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh gosh, 2 more months we got to wait, and then it's going to be, just like a handful of games and it's over. But hey,
Now I really,
sounds better than
yeah. Now I hope that the rifle, where they've been able to do their relays remotely because of
yeah,
video cameras and stuff like that, and that kind of technology, and seeing that there's no defense, it's all
right. I
shots,
mean,
then they can do that
they
and have a
should.
proctor to
I would
to
think. I
judge and
mean,
stuff. And the first few matches of the year were done that way. They've been doing some in person meets, but Kentucky's got a
mhm.
great team again. Mary Tucker not only broke a school record during the rifle match, she broke an NCAA record
Yeah.
during the long rifle match against Morehead State and Murray State
Hmm.
this past weekend. So really good performance out of the Rifle Cats. So hopefully they don't get screwed to have another championship because it looks like they did last year, I think, and it looks like they've
Yeah.
got another championship caliber team this year. So
I mean, hopefully everything goes well. I mean, really,
yeah,
it, like you said, though, I mean, you would think, and granted, I don't know a whole ton about how they like orchestrate their meets and everything, but you would think like that's the kind of thing where, yeah, if everybody's doing their own thing remotely or whatever, then like it's perfectly set up to where you can do this and not risk like infecting each other. I mean, just do your own thing. Should be all right,
Yeah.
I would think. So I mean, that's hopeful. But yeah, like you said, I mean, they are really, really good. So it'd be a real shame if they
Two
got
years
the
in a row they got the shaft.
yeah. I mean, it'd be a real bummer if they got the rug pulled out from under them this year, just because they have the potential to do some really cool stuff. But
Yeah, and it's one of the few sports, like I said, you can do remotely. Last year, everything just
sure,
happened. Like they were setting up for the championship there at
I mean, it was like
Baker
it
Hall,
was set up. I mean, they
and
were getting ready to
yeah, they were
start, and
getting
they
ready to
just said,
start it,
"Shut it down.
and
We're
then they had to
done."
stop. Yeah, it was like, oh,
It's kind of unreal. Like I remember seeing that they had the pictures, like they were ready to go. They had cameras ready. It was all good. It was like 20 minutes till go time. They were just like, "Nope, tear it down." Doing that as you had conference basketball games that were being
canceled at
played. That
halftime. It's like,
yeah,
why not let them finish the game? I mean, at this point here, if
yeah,
any of them's got it, they've already
sure, sure.
didn't understand that maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah, the only other basketball thing I want, just not really any kind of fact or anything, but just kind of a funny observation I thought of, honestly, right before we came on, um, in terms of just how crazy all this is, like trying to figure out what's going to happen, if we're going to play, how long we're going to play, and everything else. I was thinking about it. It's like, what was it like? Was it like a month ago, I guess? I don't know. Time seems to flow so weird anymore. It seems like it's about a month ago or so that instead of people being like, oh, it's probably going to get shut down, we're not going to play this year, you had people saying that the NCAA was talking about like what, you had coaches from the ACC, like Coach K was heading it up, and NCAA was at least giving it attention, the idea of just letting like everybody be in the tournament this year. And just thought like, as far as like how much we've just kind of flip flop between these different ideas. If we need to cut all this down, no, let everybody in. Oh, let's just do bubbles all over the place. Oh wait, never mind. Let's just bring everyone together. Like,
I think the thing that boiled down to that was, I think Coach
yeah,
K was pushing. We just play in conference games or in state
yeah,
rivals, and then
yeah.
everybody makes the tournament because nobody's going to have any big key wins.
Well, yeah. I mean,
um,
nobody's like, as far as how they're gonna, even if we were lucky enough to get that far, as far as how they tally all that up and figure out seating and like figure out who's in, I don't know how they do it because they're going to be working under circumstances that are unprecedented. So, oh, I don't
yeah,
know.
it was a cool
It's
idea to throw around, especially
yeah,
because at that point there it was kind of like, well, what do we got to do to make basketball happen?
yeah. And like you said, like you could tell he had kind of ulterior motives just throwing it out there. But it was just the fact that like people were taking like people in the media and everything else were like taking it seriously and saying, "How cool would this be? Let's do that." Like I said, just the back and forth from one extreme to another. Like we'll just buckle everybody down in their own little spots and just figure it out. And then nope, send them all to Indianapolis or somewhere near there. And it just goes to show you like no one really knows what to do right now, and no matter like how sure of themselves they seem when they talk about it, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean the whole indie thing is kind of foolish in my idea as well. It's like, okay, so
Yeah,
you're going to
I
bring
don't see
people
how
from
that's a
all over
clever
the
idea.
country to a central spot in the country.
Yeah.
How about everybody just plays in their region?
Well, and I know they said what, as far as I know, I think what they want to do as well is still hold conference tournaments, which to me is like, what a waste of time. Like, just, you don't need to play those this year. Just forget it. But if we're going to do that, they're saying, I guess we're probably going to have like a 2 or 3 week period between conference and NCAA tournament this year, if it actually happens, with the idea that basically like once your conference tournament's over, then everyone just bubbles up for like 2 weeks, and then you know straight just converges wherever they're supposed to be meeting up in Indianapolis or close by or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I mean, it sounds nice, but there's nothing assuring about it. I think it's just, to me, it's now we're just throwing things at the wall and seeing if something might stick.
as bad as I hate to say it, the best thing you can do is say, "Oh well, here we are. This is the Southeastern Conference,
Yeah,
Southeastern region. Well, you've got Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Florida,
yeah,
Auburn,
yeah.
all in one bracket. So sorry guys, y'all can't meet in the Final Four this year."
This is what it is. It's
And
just
then you go to the
go.
Midwest, you got Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. I mean, really and
Yeah,
truthfully, throw seeding out the window and just
Just do what we got to do.
Do what we got to do. I mean, just kind of like you do in high
slot.
school at the regionals.
Yeah.
You know, you got the 16th region. Okay, you got the top teams in the 16th, and well, only one of you get to go to the
Yeah.
Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
if we're gonna do it this year, they're gonna have to just do stuff that maybe doesn't make sense, in the traditional sense. But hey, like these are the times we're in, and we just gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, I know it sucks. Like I said, you could have an elite, a Sweet 16 without Kentucky or Kansas or Duke.
Yeah.
Any of them, depending on how they played. But at the same
Sure.
time, for the sake of transparency and just making it simple and trying to minimize the spread, I mean, the conferences in football spend all this effort to make sure that the spread's been minimized by staying in conference.
Right.
So why not just keep it in region when it comes to NCAA tournament? And like I said, just what happens, what happens. It's one of those years there's going to be an asterisk next to it if it does happen, so who cares?
Whatever. Like, let's just do this so we can have basketball and have fun. Like, no one's going to care after this year. Like, people will look back 10 years from now and go, oh, that was the weird year. Okay. Like, great.
Yeah, that was the year we had Auburn and...
like, Georgia Tech ended up winning the tournament that year. Like, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
Oh, like, I mean, they didn't play anybody. Like, all the good guys knocked each other out first.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, that could be what we see. But, yeah, I don't know. A whole lot else to talk about, really. Now we're just kind of waiting for basketball to start and see how bad this Alabama thumping is. That's pretty much all I got, unless you got anything else you want to touch on.
No, pretty much covered it. Like I said, I went ahead and threw the rifle in there earlier just because, like I said, it's a little bit different. But
yeah.
And I guess that's a big deal, breaking NCAA records. So congratulations to Mary Tucker on that one.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's about all I've got this week. So
yeah, pretty much does it. Yeah, I mean, next week should be interesting. We'll get to review the Alabama thumping and look ahead to the Florida game, see how things are looking on that front, and more than likely, depending on when we get to shoot this thing, we'll probably be previewing Kentucky versus Morehead State in basketball. As long as nothing happens that's
and if something does,
disastrous.
we may throw something else your all's way to watch.
Well, yeah. If all else fails, we might just do something else. Like, who knows? We'll figure it out. We'll do what the rest of the world's doing right now. We'll just seriously, we might just talk about the Mandalorian so far this season.
And everybody being mad about Baby Yoda committing genocide.
Yeah. We'll do what we got to do. Fingers crossed for a good sports-related show next week, but if it's not, it's not. No promises. It'll be a nice, pleasant surprise. But yeah, until then, thanks again, everybody, for watching again this week. Be sure to like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and hit us in the comments. You got anything to add about Vanderbilt or just basketball in general, looking ahead to Alabama and the rest of the season. But yeah, like I said, until next time, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.